right, guys, this is my second podcast for today. This will be current news stuff and then the Giants game. Obviously, that's critical. The one I did before this was on Fangio's history to show you this guy, you take a look at his history, how he's done with top quarterbacks and mobile quarterbacks. But this is the, right now, most critical and most relevant. And we got the way the Miami Dolphins love to do, pop news story. We trade for Chase Claypool for a 6th-round pick. Guy is a stud, 6'4", 230-ish, and he runs a 4.42. I mean, this for a 6th-round pick, you can't, for the price, $2 million, there's nothing. This is a great trade. And I'll get into that whole thing on air. I'm not saying this is going to send us to the Super Bowl, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great trade, Big deal. If even it doesn't work out, a 6th-round pick for this, roll the dice. Excellent. But unfortunately, the biggest story is you're hearing all kind of reports. Is Howard upset at Fangio? His defensive players are disgruntled and doing their own thing. And this ties into a lot of stuff, very critical. This is a big story. It says a lot, and it could, this could be a very big negative if it keeps playing out that way. And you can't blame Fangio. You can't. If you're the coach and you tell the players to do something and you're getting paid millions, just do it. But this dysfunction, if it's true, I don't know if it is critical because it takes defense to win championships. And that's what this is. We're not here to have lots of pass yards and to have some pop games. This is about substantive success. And you need defense for that. So I'm going to cover that as well. Then I'll get into the Giants, go over the matchups. It's a basic, we should blow this team out of the water, But there is some interesting stuff in there, most notably to Eichenberg or not to Eichenberg. Is Connor going to be in or Eichenberg? And that really changes a lot of stuff. And I think that's the most critical factor. If Connor's in, this is just like a landslide victory. It still might be even with Eichenberg, but there's some dangerous territory there. Anyway, my man, Terron Armstead is on IR now. Not terrible. I mean, these next 2 games are very winnable games. And then you got the Patriots at home, which should be a winnable game. They look like terrible. I thought they'd be much better. But you never know. They could pull themselves together. But Gonzalez, their first-round pick, first-round pick, kid's great, but he's out for maybe the season, but he's definitely going to be out for this game. And then we got Philly, which we're probably going to lose anyway in their house. So he could be back for the Chiefs game. So I'll get into that whole thing. And then last, Hill's yapping about the Chiefs, saying stuff. I think it's a waste. But anyway, I'll get into that. So that's going to be the topics for discussion, guys. Get ready. This is a bounce back game. It should be. I'm very excited to hear the super positive talk again after we do it. We'll be back on track. Everybody was saying we'll be back on track, and I'll be nice. I like the positive hyperbole better than the negative hyperbole. So anyway, Claypool, guy's 6'4", 230 something. He runs a 4.42. I mean, with this, he's going to get it in space with Hill and Waddle and all the others. This is, for a 6th-round pick, you cannot knock this in the least. Now, it's not going to, revolutionize our team unless the guy plays out of his mind, but still, it adds to his strength. But you cannot take this deal. It does say likely Carcraft and Easy might be finished for the season. And Easy was a pick that, we could have had Zach Tom. That's the guy who I wanted. He was in our house. We chose not to go. Zach Tom is now currently the 11th best tackle in the league. And he could play guard. He could play center. He could play whatever you want on the line. And we passed on for Easy. And Easy is now on the fast track to go nowhere. And it's a shame, because if you took Easy out and added Zach Tom, this team would legitimately be a superstar team. But we decided not to go that route. But Easy now is kind of a pick that's just been squandered for, a 3rd-round pick for 2 years. Then you got Wilson, who isn't playing, and he's just basically, we stashed him to try to save some money, and he's not really much anything. You got Berrios, you got The Chosen, and now you got Claypool. So you got as many wide receivers as you could possibly need. But again, the offensive line is still the question. So this is a great pick. Tua facilitated. He got in on. He likes Claypool. He vouched for him. He kind of threw the idea out. it's going to do well for Tua, and that's nice. I like that. Guy's got superstar. He's got a big dude to throw to now. He's got the two little guys in Waddle and Hill who are fast. And then he's got the tall, skinny, fast guy in The Chosen. Then he's got the little fast guy, shifty guy in Berrios. And now he's got the big, fast guy in Claypool. You can't ask for much more receiver talent. So great news. Can't go wrong with it. It's a one-year deal. So that's it. I mean, there's nothing to knock about it. It's total, but there's all the things. And the key thing now is defense. Everywhere, even some, big time writers saying guys are just not buying into Fangio's thing and they're doing their own thing. And there's disgruntled players. Is Howard disgruntled that he's playing zone instead of man? We started out in cover 3. I think the first 2 seasons. Then we went to man with Flores, and he had his big season. But he still did pretty good, I think in cover 3. But that's what we're saying. I don't know if any of this stuff is true. I know on the film, guys are doing whatever they want to do. And you can say, well, Fangio's fault. Well, listen. If he ran Boyer's system, if Fangio came in, did what everybody wants, said, I'm Vic Fangio, I revolutionized the NFL, let me do a different defense. And he did it. It would still take guys following their assignments and guys making tackles. And so we haven't been good tackling for a while. So it says that these players, something's going on with the tackling. It's about them, not Fangio. You can't fix something that's not fixable. Some of these guys have issues with tackling. And I don't care. You're in your 4th game. You got a star like Fangio. He tells you to do something. You're getting paid millions. You're in a critical season. How do you not give your all and show some of the effort? We saw even from a guy like Holland. So you could say Fangio this, that, or the other thing. But there's an effort level that's expected when you get paid this kind of money and you're a professional. And it's not there. And you don't get to choose your own adventure and make it up as you go and go, this is my assignment, but I'm going to do something else. That screws things up in any system, but more importantly, in a Fangio system. Now, we hear certain things, which I think, like, why didn't Fangio just put Howard on Diggs? I don't think people really understand what that means. I mean, you could do it in time, but I want to show you this graphic here so you could get your mind to understand this is not backyard football. You got Tommy. I'll score. It's not like that. This is all about exactitude. Fits, edges, fronts, separation of your formations, depth, multiple reads, mixed match zones. There's so much complexity. Look at this graphic. So if you have Howard follow Diggs and Diggs goes to the other side of the field, that red line, all those guys in blue have to understand what that means as far as their responsibilities in coverage if you're playing zone. And I think it's more complicated when it's mixed match zone. If you just run flat zones, hey, you got this zone, you got this zone, you got this zone, we're putting X on Diggs all day, man. It's a little different. But then you're predictable, and then you're taking away what Fangio does. So all those guys, the blue circles, even the edge guys, because sometimes they drop. So if you blitz, and then all of a sudden Diggs goes across the line of scrimmage, and you got one of these guys blitzing, one of those edge guys are dropping, he's got to know where he's supposed to go. You're going to get, like I showed you in a film, with guys next to each other. And then the guys in the purple boxes, then they got to decide where their run fit is, because if Howard's on the edge, say he lines up, all to the edge, or even like close to the line, to the DE, he's the farthest guy outside. So his run fit is taking care of that. They run the football. But if he goes to the other side, then Phillips and Wilkins and Long, everybody else has got to adjust. So as he's going across that line of scrimmage, if you don't have the defense mastered and you don't know how to adjust with your coverage, how to adjust with your run fits, you don't know how, like when I showed you with the Long blitz, he blitzed. And instead of going outside and forcing him back to the strength of leverage, he went inside and then Allen rolled out. It was an easy, not easy, but for him, fairly easy dime to Diggs. And everyone goes, who sucks? Fangio sucks. He screwed the blitz up. So now you're going to mix it all up when the guys don't even know what the hell they're doing right now. That's crazy. In time, yes, when you master it. You can't go from level 1 to 7 until you get 1 down. And then 2, and then 3, and 4. And these guys don't have it. And this whole talk about guys, they're disgruntled and they want. You're getting paid millions. You're a pro. Just do what you're supposed to. Learn your job. I don't know. This is bad news. It's dysfunction. I thought we were out of that, but the dysfunction is rearing its head in different places. And the Claypool thing, he's a dysfunctional guy who got himself off 2 teams. So I don't know. Maybe that's a negative side to Claypool. But this defense, these defenders, they got to look in the mirror and do their job. You know, and Fangio will be the guy. You ever say Fangio. But you can't have players doing this. And I hope it's not true, at least to the extent they're saying. So we got to keep our eyes on this one. It'll be a good day. It'll be a party day. This week will be a party day. The defense will do good. The offense should do good. Everybody will love each other again. But when the trouble comes, this can be a concern. So let's get into the Giants. This team's bad. Dable, I didn't like Dable. Last year he did well. People were like, well, you don't like Dable. Look what he's doing. Well, look what he's doing now. The team's falling apart. He's arguing with his quarterback, throwing the tablet at him, and the guys are shouting out at the fans. There's just total meltdown. Look at this team. Red box is bad. The offensive line's trash sheet, though, and they're injured. That's what makes the NFL world go around. If you think we got complaints, this is the 45th best offensive line in football this year. So Jones, he's struggling. I don't care. You can't get mad at the quarterback. He makes mistakes, but when you guys getting snot beat out of him, you got that kind of offensive line play. You got to look there first. They got a little bit of talent in the receiving department. Waller's a concern. Good tight end, catching tight end. You got some good receiving talent. Barkley, if he plays, is a good run. But if your offensive line is trash and you have like a pretty okay quarterback with no offensive line, forget about it. This defense will thrive unless they totally melt down, and that will be disastrous. But then on the defense, they got nobody on the edge. They got very few guys in coverage. They got one good safety, some good linebackers. But against this set group of receivers, forget it. They're going to get nuked. Now, the only thing that we have to be concerned with is Lawrence and Williams are beasts inside. And Wynn will struggle versus power. And if you got Eichenberg there, he's going to get lit up like a Christmas tree. Now, I like what Hunt does, but he can bite a little bit and you get the pressures and stuff like that. And I don't think it's going to be enough for us to lose the game, but it could be enough for Tua to get zapped hard. Lawrence is 340, and he's fast, and he's a good pass rusher. So that's my only concern, is if Eichenberg's in, these guys get a little inside pressure and blast maybe a running back who caught too quickly or Tua. Other than that, we should nuke these guys on offense and defense. There's really not much to talk about. It's a terrible team with a terrible 45th best offensive line in football. So everything will get good. People go back to being super duper. The Dolphins are on track, but we're not going to get to see who we really are until we play Philly in a couple of weeks, because Panthers are bad. They're not this bad, but they're bad. So that's really it. There's nothing to talk about. And what does it really talk about? It's Dolphins, whatever little issues they got is nothing like this. This is a nuke job. It should be. If it's not, then if we lose this game, then I think there should be go crazy moment. Anyway, guys, I'm going to keep going. I got some other stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about Eichenberg, Hill, and Armstead. But first, I want to say, guys, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate all you do. You're the best. Likes, subscribes, comments, the views, all that stuff. It keeps the algorithm gods happy and keeps me in my business, which I love. So I'm grateful. So I want to give you a shout out to Eichenberg, my sponsor. Without the two of you, the show ain't going down. Eichenberg's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. If you've watched me for a little while, I talked about, especially 2021 and 2022, how we had to keep so many guys in to block 4 guys. They would just play rush 4, and then they would play nickel cover all day. And that really hurt us. And it didn't matter in the first 4 weeks so much. Well, first 3 weeks for so many different reasons. But it mattered a lot against the Bills. And we see here, Omar Kelly, O-line got beat by 4, D linemen all game, 5 and sometimes 6 blockers got whipped by 4 all game and impacted every aspect of the offense. And that's what I was saying from the beginning. People are like, whoa, Eichenberg blocked it. No, he changed the complexion of the blocking. You had to keep more guys in, less guys in routes, and that's why the offense looked so clunky compared to the first 3 weeks. If you put more guys into the routes, you stress that secondary, it gives 2 or more options. A lot of people saying, 2 didn't get to first and second option because you only had 2 and 3 options, and they were playing nickel all day, so it was 7-on-2, 7-on-3. So you got to understand what Eichenberg does. I mean, he'll miss assignments, but then the whole philosophy and ability to facilitate this offense utterly changes when he's in compared to Connor. Now, McD is doing I can't believe that he believes this. It's a sell job, but you got to ask yourself, why would he say, I mean, would anybody get this after a performance like that? Would anybody anywhere get this? I feel pumped for Liam's game as his first game as a center. I'm not sure you guys have ever done anything for the first time. It's definitely not your finished Picasso piece. He'll be there if needed. I'm sure we're going to get a cool practice week from him. This is hogwash. But I don't think in any way, shape, or form McDaniel, in his right mind, unless he's totally high, would be like, I think that Liam should be starting at center. Who made that decision? That's a critical decision. Who on earth thought that was intelligent? It was foolish. And now he's selling it. And that's, who could have that bad of a day and then get that kind of talk? Because he's got to. And it goes back to what I've been saying for a while. I don't think that the coaches are in charge and Greer is, Mr. I'll do whatever you want, because it doesn't make sense. Liam's been forced in, so is Jackson, for 2 regimes now. And so we'll see how this plays out. But that was a terrible sell job and total load of garbage. This guy flopped hard. He totally compromised the team. It's a critical season. Who made this decision? They've got to get their face, not really, but put to the grindstone. Like their face, who they are, needs to be put to the grindstone, because this is a terrible decision. And I mean, who knew that Connor would go down? He's been healthy for a while, but you got to prepare for the worst. Who would have thought that? It's ridiculous. So, someone else put this, Brian Cat NFL, Liam Eichenberg has pass protection grade of 10.6. Not good, right? Out of 100. Teacher gives you a 10.6 and you bring it home to your mom. She's going to say, I was really proud of you first time taking that test, kid. By PFF, 44th out of 44 centers. It's probably more like 88th if they did it properly. Guess who's number 43? Michael Dieter, now Texans, with a 28.3. What did I say? He's a step down from Dieter. Isn't that amazing? I said that literally before the game. Couldn't get any better than that. I mean, worse, but these guys are terrible. Somebody decided to draft them, whoever that was. They can't draft centers. They're both weak, lack physicality, nice guys, pretty smart, but look at the mold. Terrible. All right, so that's that. If he's in there, Lawrence is going to take his lunch for 5 generations from now. I mean, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be destruction. You could just see Liam Eichenberg's arms and legs explode, one of those toys my kids got with everything. It's just ridiculous. So let's hope that Connor's in. I hope they don't put him in early, because that groin can become a long term. If we had to deal with Eichenberg all season, you know how disastrous that would be? You got to plan for this stuff. Anyway, Armstead, my man Terron, is going to be out for 4 weeks, maybe more. That special delivery from Liam Eichenberg. He's not a bad guy. People like getting on Liam Eichenberg. The guy's giving everything he's got. He's in a pro. This guy's a super. If you saw this guy walk into a room, you'd be like, who is this dinosaur? This guy's a very talented player, but just not on the NFL level. And he's been bounced around. He hasn't been developed properly. I'm not saying if he was, he would have. But don't look at him. Who put him in? Who drafted him? That's where you got to keep your eye on. But that destruction caused my man to go down. Somebody was like, well, you got to, fall Terron too because he was getting blown back. The guy's injured. And he was playing great. Best offensive lineman on our team. And he got zapped from behind because the center was driven back, from to Kalamazoo. And then the player hit him in the back of the leg. So Terron's going to be out. He could be back by the Chiefs game. That's fine. I think they should hold him out a little longer. You just need to keep this thing together. You win this week. You win next week. You beat the Patriots. You're 6. And then, let's see. We got 3-5, 6. You'd be 6-3 if you'd say you lose to the Philly and the Chiefs. And that would be nice to have Terron totally healthy, Connor totally healthy. Then you got Chase Claypool. And then you got a defense that might be coming together. And then you can make that final push. So I don't know when Terron's going to be back. He's critical. You're going to see Liam get driven back a lot. People are saying Terron who. Matchups, guys, you could look like a superstar in the right matchups. And then when you come to the real matchups, remember, playoffs is the top of the top of the top. And then you keep getting deeper, it gets more ferocious. And then you see the separation between the haves and the have-nots. So I hope this guy gets back soon. Just let this guy heal, man. I don't care. You don't care if he's, plays 8 games. Just get this guy back healthy. And in the last part, Hill's talking about the Chiefs. They got lucky with the Jets and they got lucky in the Super Bowl. Yeah, but why do you even say that? Why do you put that stuff out there? There's nothing to be gained from it. I like what Hill said after the last incident. You just got to learn, I know you're trying to make yourself out there to be like a guy in a public eye and, say all the cool stuff, but you just got to leave that alone. You don't want you're playing this team. It's going to be a hard game. You don't want to give anything extra. You don't want to give any extra. So that's it, guys. We're going to win. Just hope we can make it through safe. Hopefully Connor's in and stays healthy. This team will be fine for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get a real test of reality against the Eagles. And I think the Patriots will be a little bit of a challenge, maybe not. But then Chiefs certainly will. But the worst case scenario should be 6-3 after 9, and that's a great place to be. Hopefully, Terron comes back soon. Hope you enjoyed the game. No live again tonight, guys. Like I said. Long week, tired, and I need to spend time with my family and take a little break. And this is just like, paint by numbers prediction here. Anyway, guys, be well. Thank you for everything. See you soon. Go Fins! Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.